It's simpler to find a rant on the internet about why you should stop watching adult films, or about how it harms our children, our relationships, and our life than it is to read about any potential advantages of adult films. Almost anything, from the decline in our attention spans to the increase in divorce rates, may be attributed to adult films. However, here are the top 10 benefits of watching adult films. Number 10. Because it's healthy. In spite of the many studies that claim adult films are harmful to your brain and your relationships, there are just as many studies that suggest adult films do not cause irreversible harm to the brain or your sex life. In fact, it may be kind of beneficial for you. In a study that was published in 2008, two Danish researchers named Gert Hold and Neil Malamouth reached the conclusion that the use of adult films did not result in any adverse mental or physical impacts after interviewing 688 persons in Denmark. In point of fact, the researchers discovered a favorable association between the participants watching of adult filmographic material and greater levels of sexual satisfaction, in addition to the subject's self-reported benefits in other areas of their lives. Number 9. Because sometimes it's better than the real thing. You don't always want to put in the kind of effort that involves changing out of your pajama pants, but there are nights when you want to get all dolled up, put on a freakum dress, and pretend to be someone who does not eat food out of the garbage long enough to trick a guy into having sex with you. However, you don't always want to change out of your pajama pants. The availability of free adult filmographic content on the internet is the next best thing to having sex included with your Netflix subscription. Number 8. Because it relieves stress. Owning a stress ball does not make it any easier to deal with the complicated twists and turns that are part of life. This is despite the fact that life can be stressful. When a person is under a lot of pressure, their brain will release cortisol, which inhibits their capacity to think effectively and solve problems. Researchers at Carnegie Mellon University found that men who looked at photos of naked women had significantly lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol and performed significantly better on a math test. Isn't it cool? There is also a reduction in the amount of cortisol that women experience. And of the 85% of women who say they watch adult films to escape reality, 23% of these women say it also helps them relax and relieve stress. Number 7. Because it's hilarious. When we suggest that adult films are hilarious, we are not attempting to make light of adult films or the people who create it. We are asserting that adult films are amusing for the same reason that sex in general is humorous, due to the fact that it involves unexpected sounds, body fluids, and weird faces. Even if you can't get into adult films itself, you can at least get into the Ron Swanson expression on the Maine Coon's face as he watches his cam girl owner go downtown on herself with the dildo. The fact that there is an added level of artifice makes adult films even funnier. Even if you can't get into adult films itself, you can at least get into the expression. And if that weren't enough, studies have shown that laughter has aphrodisiac properties. Number 6. It can be to the advantage of your relationship. If you and your partner want to explore new avenues of sexual possibility, one way to do it is to watch adult films together. A significant amount of adult film media tends to distort people's perceptions of what is realistically possible. But as long as you and your partner establish reasonable norms and limits, you should both end up content. According to the findings of a study carried out by Ann Summers, 58% of women who reported watching adult films with their significant other reported that doing so had a positive impact on their sexual lives and made it easier for them to express their desires in the bedroom. When both people in a couple have sexual self-assurance, it increases the likelihood that they will stay together and decreases the likelihood that they will cheat. Number 5. Because it could benefit your relationship. There is a rationale to the fact that watching adult film media is a first step in the coming out process for any gay male. It is difficult to become at ease with your own urges or to normalize them in your brain if you have not been exposed to sexual behaviors that fall outside of the realm of what you have been led to believe that is acceptable. Number 4. Because exploring your sexuality is how you find out what you like. When we are angry, we say and do things that we normally wouldn't, such as yelling at the waitress because our favorite restaurant is out of the duck confit we've been desiring all week long. If adult film decreases stress, then there should be a correlation between that and a decrease in aggressive tendencies. Watching a moderate amount of adult films may actually lessen the likelihood of someone committing a sex crime, which runs counter to the popular idea that adult films encourage individuals to behave in a sexist manner or conduct violent crimes. Number 3. Because watching adult films may decrease aggressive tendencies. Let's get this right off the bat. Adult films are in no way meant to serve as a guide for having sexual encounters in real life. It's only a fantasy, and it can be very ridiculous one at a time. Nobody likes having sexual encounters in the same way that people do in adult films. No one gets turned on by spitting into a butt, gagging on a penis, washing their face with baby batter, or any of the other film cliches that drive anti-adult film activists to the conclusion that adult films always pose a threat to women's health and well-being and is damaging to their lives. However, just because you find something repulsive does not mean that no one else can find it appealing. And just because you've been seeing a few things in adult films that you wouldn't do in your personal sex life doesn't imply there aren't any benefits of adult films for frequent viewers. There are plenty of positive things that can come from watching adult films. Adult films can also serve as a springboard for your knowledge when it comes to bettering your ability to please yourself. If you engage in semi-regular masturbation, there is a good possibility that you know enough about yourself and what you enjoy to be able to request it when you are in bed. In the long run, this will result in a far more satisfying sexual life, whether one is sexually active, alone, or with a partner. Number 2. If you want a higher libido, try watching some adult entertainment. Previous research and hypotheses have suggested that watching adult film content lowers the likelihood that your spouse will find you sexually attractive in real life and may contribute to sexual dysfunction. However, recent findings demonstrate that this is not the case. A study that was carried out by the University of California discovered that there is a correlation between adult films and the sex drive that a man has. Researchers at the university requested 280 men to keep a log of their adult film viewing experiences, while also monitoring their libidos. The goal of the study was to determine whether or not viewing sexual stimuli influences how a person reacts to actual sexual advances made in the bedroom. The researchers discovered that males who viewed more than 2 hours of adult films had a greater desire for sex with a partner, rather than just masturbation or solo sex. This was the case regardless of the type of adult films that they watched. Number 1. Because it doesn't break the bank. If you want to save some money on your next personal romp session, staying home is the best option. Spending a lot of money going to the strip club near your home on a regular basis can be a waste of money, and sometimes it's nicer to stay in the comfort of your own home rather than trying to strike up a conversation with a complete stranger. Getting off in public is also dangerously close to crossing the line into harassment. There are a lot of free adult film sites that give excellent adult films that is just as good as a real deal, and they may even offer better and more particular sexual content than paying someone in real life to have sexual encounters with you. Thank you for watching.